You might have heard stories and narratives like, don't go after that. Don't put yourself on Front Street. Don't express feelings first. Don't show that you're attracted first. Don't show and tell them that you like them, you care for them. Don't put your feelings out there. Don't wear them on a sleeve because you never know what could happen. They probably don't feel the same way about you. And in the end, it's probably going to be really nasty, really messy. You don't want none of that. Just don't even do anything. Maybe this is backed up by actual trial and error you've occurred where you felt some way about somebody and they didn't feel the same about you, and it really crushed you and it left you in pieces. And although that's relatable and understandable, that perspective is really heavy on fear, speaking fear literally in one ear and out the other. And it causes you to really be stagnant, slow, and unwilling to put yourself in positions to not only love others, but to also receive love, because you're always thinking like, what if this doesn't work out? And what if this is just like the rest of them? Whether it's romantic relationships and or friendship, dealt with a lot of brokenness and broken trust, and you're just tired of all of that. And what that perspective shows is a lot of fear as a result, which also results in a lot of a lack of relationships, lack of connection, and even a desire to want one for yourself in the future. But here's a perspective that's actually life-giving and is worth considering. 1 John 4 verse 18 through 19 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear has torment. He who fears is not made perfect in love. We love him because he first loved us. Now, what does the Bible or any of this have to do with this very topic? Well, this perfect love that's being described is actually a love that is rested on the foundation of the love that God has for you and me, which he proves through Christ on the cross. That love is not only the greatest love we could ever experience, but is a love that is enough for us, really embracing it, really truly resting in that place to really believing that I'm already loved, I'm already chosen, I'm already wanted and desired by a love that no other human could ever match. And the best that other humans could do is reflect it if they're walking in this love. And so because we choose to believe in that, the perspective on love actually shifts. It's not to say that you may not face doubt, because doubt is different than fear. Fear paralyzes us. Doubt just causes uncertainty, maybe a lot more questions and answers, but we're still able to move forward. Why is that? Because we're able to understand that I don't need your love in order to love properly. I don't need you to reciprocate this love to me in order for the love I give to be genuine, authentic, and legitimate. And the reason being is because I'm already accepting of the greatest love that could ever impact my life, that love coming from Jesus himself. And so because I trust that he's the greatest love, because I trust that his love is enough for my life, that I'm already wanted, I'm already chosen, I'm already loved to the max. I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Somebody who knows the depths of my heart, the dirtiest things about me, and yet still loves me to the fullest. I'm able to actually step out in confidence and love people first, to potentially show interest first, to express feelings first, to actually desire genuine relationships with others first, to express appreciation first, to show consistency and be willing to do all of that first and not have to wait for somebody to show it to me to then feel free to give it to them. Understanding this has changed my life greatly. I actually reflect on a moment actually a couple months ago where I had to actually sit down and really work through some of the doubts that were creeping up in me regarding a relationship that I'm currently in. And it was when I sat down and worked through those thoughts that I was able to pinpoint that it's not fear that I'm experiencing here. It's actually doubt. And the doubt actually stemmed from relationships that I had to move on from when I was transitioning from high school to college. A lot of crushing feelings there because a lot of the friendships that I had that I carried and with such genuineness, all of a sudden were no longer available. And I really didn't know how to transition out of that. And I realized that in those relationships, I was the first one to always reach out. I was the first one to always keep in contact. I was one who was really there for that relationship. But when space was given, when I was no longer the first one to give and the first one to do, the relationship crumbled and I didn't know what to do. Your boy was shook, your boy was crushed. And it was reminding me of that very space that was kind of creating the doubt that I was experiencing in that moment. But when I sat down, got the why behind the doubt I was feeling, where it was coming from, and not implementing that same emotion or that same thought process or those same behaviors towards the person regarding this relationship, I was able to really process things and then be able to realize that the doubt I was experiencing came from what I experienced in those seasons. And it's not because of this individual. Therefore, the biggest takeaway I had, even though I may be doubtful that what I'm giving is going to be given to me in return, even though I'm doubtful that if I gave this person space, I don't know if they're going to come back. I don't know if they're going to reach back. I don't know if they're going to pour anything back into this. It doesn't have to stop me from loving that person or continuing to love in a genuine, authentic manner in a way that reflects Christ to others I encounter. Because even though I can't control what they do and how they respond to the love I give, I am in control of the character and love I walk in every day as the man I am called to be. And this opened so many doors for me in terms of the relationships I desire to have, I continue to build, and even helping others like yourself and grasping this perspective of a love that will change your life. So what's the point of this entire video I'm making to you? Well, it's just this simple. Carrying the perspective that the world and culture pushes, that if you do this loving thing, if you put yourself on Front Street, if you allow somebody to know how you feel about them, if you're vulnerable with them, all those kinds of things, it does nothing but come back and bite you in the end. I want you to revert that energy. I want you to stop pouring energy into that thought, because that's actually destroying the relationships you actually want to be a part of and you want to build, because you're quick to look for exits the minute something doesn't seem too right. You're no longer willing to remain in process and actually get to know somebody. You're steadily waiting and playing this hopscotch game. You're playing this game of whether or not you should let them know, or I'm going to just throw out all the signs possible and hopefully they catch on, instead of just willingly admitting, hey, I like you and I want to see where this goes. And hear me when I say this. There is some risk when it comes to loving others at this state. Yes, absolutely. We're not blind to that. We see it. However, somebody's got to be the first to do it. So my question is, why not you? Why not be the first? Why not be the first to express that? And now you know, right? Where somebody stands, where they're at in their headspace, what they have availability for, what they're willing to take on, what they're not willing to take on. Now you know, and now you're moving in full vulnerability and transparency to know where the relationship stands and where to go from here. And I think clarity does us a lot of greater service than just walking around, playing around, and not really knowing what's happening and remaining in this foggy state of mind that really doesn't produce any positive results in the end, only wishful thinking and misguided direction. We don't have to remain in this place of a paralyzing fear to keep us from having the relationships we desire that are happy, healthy, whole, and biblical. We're able to be set free from the fears, be set free from the anxiety, embrace the love that God already has for us, knowing that I don't need you to be a certain way in order for me to love you. I don't need you to be a certain way in order for me to express genuine love for you. I don't need you to reciprocate it to me in order for the love I give to be genuine and authentic. Yes, we want others to reciprocate it. Of course, we're humans who are designed to love and be loved. However, where we expect this reciprocation to come is also key to keep in mind. Building godly relationships with other people who are pursuing God with their heart, that is where you can expect return of investment with the love you give, because they too ought to know and realize that they are also complete in the love of God and the love God has for them. So they're able to pour back into you, knowing that they are loving from an eternal source, that being Christ. But when it comes to meeting other people who may not be aligned in the same values as Christ, the same values that you are as you're pursuing Christ with your life, we can't expect those kinds of people to pour in that kind of love, because they don't even know Christ himself, who is love, that would give the capacity to be able to pour in and be able to love others at such a great level as this. So don't hold those kinds of people to those expectations, because that's unfair to them. Be willing to realign your relationships and recenter and refocus your relationships to those who are more in the values that you carry, Christ being the most important thing to you. And allow those relationships to build, allow those relationships to grow. Be willing to be in a place of process and patience to see that thing through. Don't allow fear to keep you from these relationships. These are the relationships you want. These are the relationships that you desire to have. And it's fear that's keeping you from it. And the greatest love that's available to us is what drowns out that fear and gives us the courage, confidence, and capacity to love others, even if it's not given back, because we know we don't need it in order to give it. Listen, if you definitely enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. Your boy greatly appreciates you. We're doing a lot of good content over here, focusing on building biblical relationships. And I pray this blessed your life like it has mine. I'll catch you in the next video. And as always, until next time, be easy and be breezy, my friend. Peace.